I want to welcome you to the second meeting of the North America region of the Global Agritourism Network. My name is Lisa Chase. I'm with University of Vermont Extension and the Vermont Tourism Research Center, and I have the honor of being the founding chair of the Global Agritourism Network. Some of you have been on this journey with us for quite some time now, and so you followed the progress as we went through the official launch of the Global Agritourism Network on April 11th, and then about 2 months later, we had the first meeting of the North America region. For those of you who are not a member yet of the Global Agritourism Network, please pull out your phone and scan in the QR code or use the link that you can see on this slide, and we can also drop the URL into chat and join. As of now, the Global Agritourism Network is free to join. That may change in the future. We have with us Rohana from Sri Lanka, who's working with our promotions and membership committee to examine different options. But for now, free to join the Global Agritourism Network, and all are welcome. At the first meeting of the North America region 3 months ago, we checked in to see how often we ought to be meeting, and we heard that people would like to get together quarterly, and 3 months have flown by. So we're now back together, and we're going to start today by giving you an update on GAN in general. I'll do that. And then I'm going to turn it over to Scotty Jones from FarmStay and the chair of the Global Agritourism Network North America region to give an update on what's been happening in North America. And then we'll hear updates on agritourism in Mexico, the US, and Canada. That should take up about 20-25 minutes, the first half of this meeting. And then we're going to invite you to move into breakout rooms. And here on the slide, you can see the committees that have chairs here that are meeting today. So some of you may already be a member of one of these committees, whether you're already part of a committee or not. Feel free to select one breakout room to go to for the second half of the meeting today. And we'll put this slide up at the very end, again, so you can choose which breakout room to go to, but I just wanted to introduce the agenda and let you know that we feel like a lot of the really important work of the network is happening in these committees. So we want to encourage all of you to get connected with committees. And today is an opportunity, since it's a North America region meeting, to really focus on some of the issues that are so pertinent to the North America region with these committees. For example, policy and advocacy. We've got Marge Kilkelly from Maine here, who's been doing a lot of work on policy in the US. And Rose, who's leading that committee from Australia, it's the middle of the night for her. She may not be able to join us, understandably, but this will be an opportunity for folks in North America to really get together around policy, which has some similarities, but also some very big differences from other parts of the world. So moving back to the update on what's going on with the Global Agritourism Network since we launched, which was just over 5 months ago. We have, as of a couple days ago, 464 registered members representing 77 different countries. And thanks to Chadley Hollis, secretary of the Global Agritourism Network, we've got this graphic that shows which countries are represented. Now, I should point out that we've divided up the world into a variety of regions, and the membership is not exactly evenly distributed, as you can see on this slide. We're heavily focused in North America, and that might be in part because this Global Agritourism Network really grew out of a conference that we hosted in Vermont, the International Workshop on Agritourism, that took place just over a year ago. That led to the formation of this Global Agritourism Network. And we've got a very active North America region here that's had a couple meetings and has really reached out to people. So we're excited to see great representation here in North America. We're also excited to see the growth of this network all over the world. And we have this amazing team of regional representatives. And I'm especially going to point out here in North America, we are very fortunate to be led by Scotty Jones of Farmstay and Susie Spar of NAFTMA International Agritourism Association. Before I turn it over to them to lead the rest of the meeting, Amber's going to launch the first poll. And now you should see this poll on your screen. And many of you have already answered polls like this in the past. So please take a moment to fill it in. And as you know, you can wear as many hats. You can check off as many boxes as you want, because we know many of you wear many different hats. And since I no longer have host privileges, I can't see what's going on back there, but Amber can. So once things start to slow down, once the numbers stop coming in, what Amber can do is stop the poll, and then she can share the results. And in the meantime, after you're done filling out the describe yourself part of it, please take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat box. Some of you may have already done this. One nice thing about being in Zoom meeting as opposed to Zoom webinar is you can all see each other, especially those of you who have chosen to put your video on. For everyone who feels comfortable, please take a moment to write your name, your affiliation, where you work, where you're located, and what you have to do with agritourism. Take a moment to introduce yourself into chat. And Amber, what do you think? Time to share the poll?
Yep, we've got 48 out of 50 that were able to answer the poll.
Okay, that's an impressive. Thank you, everyone. Oftentimes there's people that choose not to. All right, we've got a great mix here. It's always good to see that some of our top professions are farmer ranchers at about 1/3, extension service providers. We've got educators, researchers, maybe at the most at 38%. And again, 1/3 tourism professionals and business owners. So really great mix here. And what I'm going to do is move to the next slide and take a moment to introduce Scotty Jones, who is the chair of the Global Agritourism Network North America region, along with Susie Spar. And Scotty's going to introduce Susie in just a little bit. So right now I'll mention that Scotty is the owner of Leaping Lamb Farm in Oregon and the founder of Farmstay. And she's also been doing a ton of work for this Global Agritourism Network, leading the North America region and being involved in many different committees. So welcome, Scotty. I'll turn it over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here. And I am going to share my screen just to get started. So look at this. It didn't start from the beginning. Okay, there we go. Welcome to all of you. I thought I would start off just with a screenshot of our very first meeting, which was back in June. And we kind of jumped right off after GAN was organized in April, which was really exciting. And it was exciting to see how many people joined us. So that was us at the beginning, and we did a poll at the beginning. So I wanted to just kind of review this really quickly with the group to show you all kind of who was there and who's in the room. And the numbers, we've gone up a little bit in Farmer Rancher since we're at 31% now. But it's still really pretty much the same. And because we could check a lot of different boxes, some of us would consider ourselves business owners too, if we're a farmer rancher. So the challenges we asked everybody for were, why would you be part of this group, and what are you having issues with in agritourism within your own life or your research? Regulations and zoning seem to be the top one for many of us, and many of us have experienced that. And what I thought was really interesting is that although this is the North America region, we have also gotten together globally in those committees, and a lot of us have a lot of the same issues. So I am so hopeful that GAN will be able to give us good ideas here in North America region about maybe how some other region did it and sorted it out and solved it, or has solved it a long time ago. This lack of data in agritourism, that helps a lot of us with regulatory issues, because then we can go and say, this is the economic impact we know we make. And so I'm really excited that there are so many researchers that want to take that on for us. And the rest of this, institutional support, that's pretty standard. Marketing, communications, that comes up a lot in farm stay. What are your biggest challenges? Marketing. In terms of benefits, how would you like GAN to help you? Because we are just so new and just forming this, we want this to be useful. We don't want this just be another meeting. So learn about resources. That's the top one that I think would help all of us in our individual practices, whether we're in tourism, whether we're a farmer, whether we're in academia, or other kinds of businesses. And, develop that sense of community. That's one that I really want, because I do understand that our challenges are similar around the world. And so I love that we could help each other in such a global way. And then increasing knowledge about agritourism. That's a big one, making new contacts. I mean, that's what hopefully that's what GAN is going to be about, is making new contacts. And in terms of contributing, there are a number of people that want to contribute on research, education, training, but all of these were filled in. I mean, webinars, event planning, hosting, communications, marketing. So we're really happy that so many people are interested in helping with it. Now, funding, we might need to work on that a little bit. And in terms of leadership level, being an active member, we couldn't ask for more. I mean, that is just wonderful. And so when we break into these committees, it's interesting to you're getting to meet people you haven't met before. B, you're getting to tell in the committee, what do you know how to do? What could you bring to the table? And 3, it just makes for a really successful program within agritourism and within GAN. And then in terms of, we were asking when's too much, or when's enough? So quarterly meetings, that is what we're going to do here on a regular basis. I love the emails that I get from GAN and from Lisa a lot that really kind of inform me about what's going on. So I think all of us, are used to email boxes. Listservs was something that I really would like to see, because that way we can communicate amongst ourselves at any time. And the other one was in-person meetings that kind of really made it big. The meeting that we had a year ago back in Vermont was really informative, really interesting, getting to see people face to face and not just on a Zoom. This is as good as we can do when we're all over the place. And then Chadley's been able to come up, and he'll probably talk about it, or somebody, about this events calendar online. So anyway, that's who we are. That's what we're doing. That's what you all wanted to do 3 months ago. So this is where we are right now. And so then what we're going to do now is we're going to do updates from our 3 different regions of North America, which is going to be Mexico, then it's going to be the US, and then it's going to be Canada. So without further ado, I'm going to stop my share. I would like to introduce Dr. Luis Alberto Morales Zamorano. He is at the University of Baja in California and Mexico, and he will be doing a screen share with us to tell us what is going on. And then once he's done, I will introduce Susie.
I'm going to define in terms of agritourism roots. This kind of agritourism promote the social, economic, and sustainable development of the territories. A route is very interesting to define of this form. A road is a unit of analysis that acts as a cluster, energizing various centers, services, resources, and tourist attractions while reducing environmental impacts. It's very important to know that this kind of agrotourism reduce the environmental impacts, okay? And now I'm going to tell you that a road is made up of a group of farms selling agricultural products and providing related services. Some farms incorporate tourists into their agricultural activities, generating synergies. It's important to say this because agritourism involve the tourists to the agricultural activities, okay? These synergies are very necessary in rural areas. Tourist roads are an emerging model of tourist activity and a significant presentation of the regenerative tourism model. Okay, I'm going to talk about the Mexico tourism attractives. In Mexico, there are 18 gastronomic routes that cover 155 destinations, 132 magical towns. It's very important to know that these towns is very attractive to the tourists. There are 9 World Heritage Sites, 14 natural and cultural sites, 25 ethnic groups, and more of 1,500 typical dishes and drinks of the countries. Another thing that is important to know is that Mexican gastronomy was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 2010. I'm going to talk about several roads, very important in Mexico. The number one is Nopal Road. Nopal is a type of cactus. It's located in Salamanca, Guanajuato. In this place, there are more of 20 micro enterprises offering a wide variety of products derived of the nopal. In Salamanca, such as creams, I don't know how to pronounce, pastes, preserved food such as nopal standard in vinegar, roasted nopals, etc. These photographs show you and kind of promotion of this nopal road. Circuito del Nopal is name, real name. This is okay form to appreciate this kind of road. There are several other roads. One of them is Tequila Road. Another one is the Mezcal Road in Oaxaca. Tequila Road is in the Jalisco, the state of Jalisco, and was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 2006, and then under the name of Agave Landscape and all industrial facilities of tequila. Okay, another route is the Pulque roads include the Maguey Pulquero regions. It's in Tlaxcala, Puebla, Hidalgo, and State of Mexico. There are several states where the Pulque road is showed for the agrotourist. The wine route is near from where I am working. The wine route is in Valle de Guadalupe, Baja California. It's the main wine growing area in Mexico, responsible for 90% of national production. There are currently 330 wine companies cultivating 4,200 hectares of grapes. This very important region that can use to agrotourism attraction. The cheese route is in Querétaro. It is named like cheese and wine road. Shrimp route is very attractive one. It's in Sinaloa state. The other one is Los Sabores del Mar road. Is located in Nayarit and Colima. And another one is Vanilla roads. In 2 days, you explore the vanilla plantation between Costa Rica and Papantla, Veracruz, in the state of Veracruz. Is near from Tajín archaeological zone. Another one is the honey route in Tlaxcala, Dayfruit Road in Mexicali, Baja California. The Naut Road is now Pecana Road in Sonora. And another ones like a potential to develop in Baja California are the next two ones. There doesn't exist, it's unreal yet, but we can promote it. One is Oyster and Volcanos Road. There are 22 oyster farms and 12 volcanoes, all sharing the same area in San Quintín, Baja California. The other one is very interesting to develop is the Strawberry and Blueberry Road. More of 25 ranches or farms are producing now these berries in the same area. One example in Mexico is shown by one paper consulted where everybody can appreciate the different former hacienda or former farms in Mexico is in red color. You can see it. And the other ones in blue colors are the agrotourism roads. Fewer ones, but there are several ones. The examples of this one is the wine roads in the upper side, the wine roads. The other one is the wine and cheese roads in Querétaro, the tequila roads in Jalisco, the mole road, mole negro, the black mole in roads in Oaxaca, the cacao roads in south of Mexico. There are two ones. There are several ones in all the Mexican territory. Finally, we can conclude that Mexico is the agrotourism. Mexico is enormous, the potential agrotourism. Due to this great variety of ancestral food, it represents great opportunities for research and innovation for development. Opportunities to develop agrotourism in rural areas in Mexico are very diverse. And finally, achieving the objectives of sustainable development represent a great challenge when using these territories of form of multifunctional way. Okay, I hope the expectations that you have is satisfied, and that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I had no idea there were all of those routes, all of that going on in Mexico. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much, Dr. Morales Moreno. And now I want to go. I'm in the western part of the United States. It wouldn't be too far. Okay, so our next presenter is going to be Susie Spar, and she's actually co-coordinating with me in terms of this region as well. But she's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the U.S. And she is the executive director for NAFTMA, which is a large agritourism organization that's been around for a long time here in the U.S. Okay, there you go, Susie.
Thanks, Scotty. So I did not prepare a big fancy presentation. So the good doctor had done extra homework there than what I did. I'll just share a little bit of information about one new particular thing that has recently come about in the US, and that is that on a congressional governmental level, there is a piece of legislation that has been introduced, and I'm actually going to drop a link into the chat. Let me send it to everyone here that has more information about the legislation. The idea behind it is that it actually would create a position within USDA, so the United States Department of Agriculture, that would be really tasked with looking into and connecting USDA more with agritourism. So it's an agritourism specific position within USDA, which would mean that agritourism would have a voice on a national level where our industry currently does not. That particular legislation was introduced by a few different individuals. We are, we have scheduled a meeting, a webinar with at least one at the moment is planned, one of the congressional leaders of that legislation. We hope to have at least some of their other staff members on as well. But right now that is scheduled for October the 4th, which is a Wednesday, and it's going to be from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if you are interested in learning more about that legislation, we certainly encourage you to attend that particular webinar event. There is also an agritourism caucus within within the federal legislators that has begun to meet as well to specifically look at industries and discuss ideas about the industry at large for the United States. I think that's pretty much all I had. I do see a chat that asks for the link to register. Lisa, I believe you actually had that link. Can you possibly share that in chat?
Yes, we will drop that in chat. And I
Thank
also, if you don't mind, I'll tag on to what you're saying to mention that there is a survey going on of the agritourism support ecosystem. So folks like me and Susie and many of you who are working to support agritourism, there's a survey going on for the US now. It will be in Canada soon. And Claudia Schmidt will drop information about that into chat. And Amber Hunt just dropped information with the webinar link. So if you click on Amber Hunt's link, that will take you to registration for the October 4th webinar, as well as some additional webinars.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Unless anyone has questions, which can probably just be dropped into chat, I will turn it back over to Scotty.
So the next person is going to be David Gillespie, who's representing Canada. He's a farmer and he's the chair of the Sustainable and Regenerative Agriculture and Agritourism Committee. It's the longest named committee that we have with GAN, and he's here to tell us what is going on in Canada. So go for it, David.
Can you hear me clearly?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Okay, let's start with where I was going with where we are with Canada. How about the term 2 steps or 1 step forward and 2 steps back? And if you considered a scale of round 0 to 10, let's start with agriculture. We're pretty much at 10. Canada is the 5th in the world for the biggest in agricultural export. The EU bloc of 27 is the first. US is second. No surprise there. Next is it escapes me right off the bat. But, Brazil, and then China, and then Canada. So we're right up there for agriculture. Agritourism, I would call it ground 0.5. Let's put it this way. I was in touch with the Minister of Agriculture, Federal Minister of Agriculture, was very supportive of what we were doing. She actually wrote to me when she was made minister. She wrote to me personally, thinking this was great what we were doing. This was way before GAN. This was 3 years ago. And the Minister of Tourism from Alberta, same thing, very, very supportive. However, the 2 steps back is we had a change in cabinet 2 months ago, and I got to start all over. So what I was thinking to accelerate it, especially with the Minister of Agriculture, I have to educate him, quote unquote, so, and sensitize him. So what I'm thinking of doing is using your congressional hearings that you're going to have, which is really timely, in conjunction with the committee that I have, that we've one of our committee members reached out to the Prime Minister, and I'm supposed to hear from him. I won't say anything more than that because I'm waiting to hear from the Prime Minister. And I think that would be a great way to get Canada up to speed. So nothing like our southern neighbor, you, Scotty, and this other country to get things going in Canada. I would say, as far as, can I talk a bit about the committee, what we're doing, Lisa, or Scotty, do you want me to discuss it later? Because it is relevant to what we're talking right now.
Lisa, I'm going to leave that up to you because we're at 10:35. So
Yes, I would say, in the interest of time, if you want to say something very briefly, go ahead.
Yes.
But as soon as David is done, then we're going to move into breakout rooms for the rest of this meeting. And then I'm sure many people will go to your committee, Dave, and you can talk much more about it there.
Right. I think just to, and for everybody here today, it's important. It's good to know that this committee we have is got this international trail that's involved between Canada, Eastern Canada and Northeast USA, specifically New York and Vermont. That's going very well. I'll talk a bit about that with the people, some people here on our committee. Lindsay is on my committee, and I see Kristen is part of that committee for the trail. And then as far as overall our committee, we've got 67 countries involved, and half the membership of GAN is with this committee. It's huge. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, David. So we're going to be spending the second half of the meeting in breakout rooms. But first, I want to thank Scotty, Luis Alberto, Susie, and David for the updates on what's going on in different parts of North America.